Hello, welcome to day 14 of Jamb Mathematics in 30 days. And I must say it has been an interesting series so far, and we are really getting there gradually, a day at a time. We are putting in enough effort to ensure that we get to that mark, which is to ace Jamb Mathematics. To those of you that has been part of the series so far, thank you so very much. And I do hope that you have been sharing it with your friends all over so that they too can participate and go ahead to ace Jamb Mathematics. Now, if you're seeing this video for the first time, this is Jamb Mathematics in 30 days brought to you by Oyalen, where we believe that if you can dedicate 30 minutes to 45 minutes of your time daily, you will get properly equipped to go on to ace Jamb Mathematics. Now, this is day 14, which means we have done day 1, day 2 up to day 13. So please do well to check those videos so that you can have the full knowledge of what we have done so far. Now, day 14, however, is about coordinate geometry. Now, we have a video where we have explained coordinate geometry in more detail. You can find that on our playlist. It is tagged coordinate geometry. Now, when you look at that video, you get fuller understanding on the topic of coordinate geometry as it affects secondary school mathematics. However, for this video, we're going to be looking at what Jamb expects of you as a student when you are taking the exams to know as far as coordinate geometry is concerned. Now, the objectives are as follows. You should be able to determine midpoint and gradient of line segments. You're also expected to be able to find distances between 2 points. And not just that, you should also be able to find the equation of a line in 2-point form. You should also be able to do that in point-slope form, and also in slope-intercept form, and also the general form. And finally, you are expected to be able to identify conditions for parallelism and perpendicularity. Now, what we'll be doing is we'll be solving questions that cut across these 4 objectives. So do well to follow us as we go on to solve Jamb past questions on coordinate geometry. Let's go on to solve this problem from Jamb 2008, which asks us to find the gradient of a line which is perpendicular to the line with the equation 3x plus 2y plus 1 equals 0. Now, in day 13, while we were solving, we did establish that when you have 2 lines such that they are perpendicular, the perpendicular bisector will have a slope m2, which is given as minus 1 over the slope of the first line. So, which means before we can go on to find the slope of this perpendicular line, we need to first find the slope of the first line, which we are given the equation. So, let's look for m1. Now, to look for m1, we're going to write out this equation. We have 3x plus 2y plus 1 equals 0. Now, we are looking at comparing this with the equation of a line, which is generally written as y equals mx plus c, where c is intercept and m is slope. So, let's rearrange this equation until we arrive at this. So we'll then say from here, 2y equals, now when negative 3 comes here, it becomes minus 3x. And then plus 1 comes here, becomes minus 1. Now all we have to do is divide through by 2. So this divided by 2, this divided by 2, this divided by 2. So we see that we have y equals minus 3 over 2x minus half. So from here we can see that minus half becomes the intercept, while minus 3 over 2 is our m1. So m2 would therefore be minus 1 divided by minus 3 over 2. This can then be written as minus 1 times minus 2 over 3. And minus times minus will give us plus, so we have 2 over 3. The correct option is therefore B. Comparing y equals minus 4x plus 2 with the general equation, which is y equals mx plus c, we see that our slope m here is minus 4. Now, if slope is minus 4, we can then go on to find the equation of the second line, taking this as x1 and y1. So our slope should be y minus y1 over x minus x1. Now, working with this, we can then say y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. So solve it. We have y minus y1 is 3 equals m, which is minus 4, open bracket, x minus x1 is 2. Now let's tidy this up. We have y minus 3 equals minus 4x. Minus times minus gives us plus. 4 times 2 is 8. So from here we can then say y equals minus 4x plus 8 plus 3. Since minus 3 crosses the equality sign to become positive. So we then say y equals minus 4x. 8 plus 3 will give us plus 11. Now, when we look at the options we are provided with, everything comes to the other side. So that is, we'll say y. Now, minus 4x comes here to become plus 4x. And then plus 11 becomes minus 11. And all equals 0. And the option that is accurate with this is C. So our answer is C. This question asks that we find the distance between the points half comma half and negative half comma negative half. Now, in order to find this, this is what we do. There's an equation you use to find the distance between 2 points. Now, the distance d is given as the square root of x2 minus x1 in bracket squared plus y2 minus y1 also in bracket squared. So basically find the modulus of x2 minus x1. So from here we can then say d equals the square root of, now x2 would be, now we'll take the greater number here as x2. So let's call this x2, this one y2, and we'll call this x1, and this one will be y1. So we'll say half minus half squared plus the same thing, half minus half squared. So distance becomes square root of, minus times minus is plus, and half plus half will give you 1. So 1 squared plus the same thing here, 1 squared. That is, we have square root of, this is 1 plus 1, so we'll have 2. So the distance between these 2 points is 2. Square root of 2, which is in option D. This question asks that we find the gradient of the line passing through the points P and Q. And the coordinate of point P is 1, 1, while the coordinate of point Q is 2, 5. And as we always do, this would then be x1, y1, x2, y2. So, solution. The gradient is also known as slope. So, gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, y2 gives us 5 minus y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 1. This would give us 4 over 2. Therefore, m equals 2. Correct answer is B. This question asks that we calculate the distance between points L and M, given that their coordinates are minus 1, minus 6, and then minus 3, minus 5 respectively. Now, the distance between 2 points is given as the square root of x2 minus x1 in bracket squared plus y2 minus y1 in bracket squared. Now, let's put in the variables. Let's replace the variables with the numbers that are given here. So d therefore becomes square root of, now x2 is minus 3. So minus x1 is minus 1 squared plus y2 minus 5 minus 6 squared. D therefore becomes the square root of minus 3 plus 1 squared plus minus 5 plus 6 squared. Now this would give us minus 2 in bracket squared plus 1 squared. D therefore becomes the square root of 4 plus 1, that is square root of 5, and that is in option A. In this question, we are to find the gradient of the line passing through the points minus 2, 0 and 0, minus 4. So we know this would be x1, y1, x2, y2. So solution. The gradient m is given by y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So let's go on to find the gradients now. Y2, that is minus 4, then minus 0, all over x2, 0 minus minus 2. Now when we work with this, we see that m therefore becomes minus 4 all over, minus times minus gives us plus, so this is plus 2. Therefore, our slope or gradient is minus 4 divided by 2, which will give us minus 2. So the correct option is C. Find the value of P if the line which passes through the coordinates minus 1, minus P and minus 2, 2 is parallel to the line 2y plus 8x minus 17 equals 0. Now, one of the things we have established is that when two lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So, what we're going to do is to find the slope of this equation. So, 2y plus 8x minus 17 equals 0. From here, we can say 2y equals minus 8x plus 17. And when you divide through by 2, you see that y equals minus 4x plus 17 over 2. And comparing this with y equals mx plus c, we can see that our slope m is minus 4. So now that we have the slope, we can then go on to find the value of p here. So that is the slope minus 4 is supposed to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we go on to say minus 4 equals, now y2 here is 2 minus y1, which is minus p, all over x2, which is minus 2, minus x1, which is minus 1. So we have minus 4 equals 2 plus p over minus 2 plus 1. So minus 4 equals 2 plus p all over minus 1. Cross multiply. Minus times minus becomes plus. So 4 equals 2 plus p, which means p becomes 4 minus 2, which will give us 2. So the value for p is 2, as seen in option D. Find the equation of a straight line parallel to line 2x minus y equals 5, having intercept of 5. Now, when we look at this equation here, we can find the parallel line by first establishing what the slope would be. So from here, if we take minus y to the other side, we'll have plus y equals now 2x. Now this is 5. When it comes to the other side, it becomes minus 5. So meaning our slope is 2. So all we have to do is write an equation where the slope is 2 and the intercept is 5. So the question will then come, the solution will then be y equals, now we know our slope is 2x. Remember, we are comparing it to y equals mx plus c, where c now is the intercept. So we have 2x plus intercept. Now the intercept according to the question is 5. So we have y equals 2x plus 5 being the equation. Now if we look at the way the options are placed, we have to rearrange this such that we would have 2x, right? And then minus y would then be equals to, now taking 5 to the other side, we have it as minus 5. So 2x minus y equals minus 5. And that is what we see in option C. This question from Jamb 2023 says, find the value of t if the distance between the points P, that is minus 3, minus 14, and Q with the coordinate t, minus 5 is 9 units. Now, we know that the distance between 2 points is given as the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now, applying this, since we know the distance is 9 units, we then say 9 equals the square root of, now x2, which is t, minus 3 squared plus y2, that's minus 5 minus 14 squared. Now, in order to tidy this up, we have to square both sides. So when we square both sides, we see that 9 equals t minus times minus will give you plus 3 squared plus, here we have minus 5 plus 14 squared. So we see 9, remember we squared this, we said square both sides, so 9 squared will give us 81 equals t plus 3 squared. And then when we work with this, we're going to have plus 9, and that will mean that it's plus 9 squared, which is also 81. So when we collect like terms, we say that t plus 3 all squared becomes 81 minus 9 squared, which is also 81. So that is t plus 3 all squared is 0. Now this is a quadratic. So, and if we work with this, that means that t plus 3 equals 0. So since they are the same thing, we just say t plus 3 equals 0, which implies that t equals minus 3. So the correct option is C. In this question, we are to find the equation of a straight line passing through 2, 3 and perpendicular to a line with the equation 3x plus 2y plus 4 equals 0. First, let's write this in the form of y equals mx plus c. So we'll then have that 2y equals minus 3x and then minus 4. Now divide through by 2, and then you see that y equals minus 3 over 2x and then minus 4 divided by 2 will give you 2. Now from here now, we can see that the slope, let's call this m1, is minus 3 over 2. And for perpendicularity, the second one, slope m2, should be negative 1 over m1, which implies that we'll be having negative 1 divided by m1, which is minus 3 over 2. So m2 is therefore negative 1 multiplied now, which means we'll flip this to be minus 2 over 3. And minus times minus gives us plus, so we'll have 2 over 3 as the slope of the second line that is perpendicular. So now that we have the slope, what we have to apply is y2 minus y1, or let's just say y minus y1 equals the slope into x minus x1. Now, using this as x1 and y1. So we then go on to say y minus y1, which is 3, equals m2, which is 2 over 3, into x minus x1, which is 2. Now from here, we can then go on. Let's cross multiply, taking 3 to this side. So we'll have 3 into y minus 3 equals 2 into x minus 2. Now from here we see we have 3y minus 3 times 3 will give us 9, equals, this will give us 2x, and this will give us minus 4. So we can then say 3y equals 2x minus 4. Now when minus 9 comes, it becomes plus 9. So 3y equals 2x. Now minus 4 plus 9 will give us plus 5. So when we compare this with the options provided, we see it is the same with what we have in option D. So our answer is D. This question from Jamb 2023 says the line 3y plus 6x equals 48 passes through point A given by the coordinate minus 2, k, and B given by the coordinate 4, 8. So now we have to find the value of k. Now let's start by getting the slope of this line, this equation of the line. So we have 3y plus 6x equals 48. Now let's simplify it by first dividing through by 3. So divide through by 3. So 3y divided by 3 will give us y, plus 6x divided by 3, that's 2x, equals 48 divided by 3 will give us 16. So we can then say y equals minus 2x plus 16. Now from here we can see that our slope n is minus 2. Okay, now let's equate this slope to how we'll get the slope using the points here. So we know m is supposed to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's apply that. M is minus 2, and this equals, now y2 is 8, so 8 minus y1, that's k, all over x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is minus 2. And we see that minus 2 equals 8 minus k over 4 plus 2, which is 6, because minus times minus gives us plus. When we cross this, we have minus 12, because 6 times 2 is 12, and there's a negative sign here, equals 8 minus k, right? So let's take minus k here and bring minus 12 here. We'll then have k equals 8. Now minus 12 becomes plus 12, so k is 20. So the correct option is B. This question from Jamb 2024 says, find the perimeter of a triangle whose vertices pass through 3, 2, 4, 5, and 6, 2 in short form. So that is, our answer should be in short form, and we can see that in the options provided. So first off, let's visualize it. So let's say this is the triangle, and the perimeter of the triangle is the sum of the length of all the sides. So let's take this vertex as 3, 2. Then this vertex let's take as 6, 2. While this vertex will take as 4, 5. Now, when we consider this, we have to find the length of each of these, and we know how to get that by using the equation for distances. So let's call this D1, D2, and D3. So D1 would be square root of, now x2 minus x1. So we have 6 minus 3 in bracket square plus, now to the y, that would be 2 minus 2 squared. Now this would give us the square root of, now the difference here is 3, and 3 squared will give us 9, and this will give us 0 plus, so 0. So D1 equals square root of 9, which is 3. Now apply the same thing to D2. D2, we're going to go now, this would be square root of, now from here we have x2, so that's 4, minus x1, which is 3, bracket squared, plus 5 minus 2 squared. This would give us the square root of 1 square plus 3 squared. So D2 therefore becomes square root of 1 plus 9, which is square root of 10. And then D3. D3 will be square root as well of, now we're considering this part now, so we have 6 minus 4 in bracket squared plus, the difference here would be 2 minus 5 squared, and this will give us square root of 2 squared plus, this is minus 3, so squared. So D3 therefore becomes square root of 4 plus 9, because minus 3 times minus 3 gives us 9. So this will be square root of, now when we add this is 13. So now we have D1 plus D2 plus D3. So perimeter equals D1 plus D2 plus D3. And this will give us D1, which is 3, plus D2. D2 is sod 10, plus D3, which is sod 13. So the correct option here is C. Now please ensure you do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and also click the notification bell, which will alert you whenever we put out new and helpful content for you. See you in the next video.